Hi everyone, Ulster County Executive Jen Metzger here. I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about UCAT, our public transit system here in Ulster County, and changes that we have made and are planning to make based on what we're hearing from you. Let's start with the big picture. UCAT and the Ulster County Transportation Council have just released the draft final route optimization plan. This is a proposal from our consultant, Foursquare ITP, to improve UCAT service countywide. And it's based on a 1.5-year study that looked at every route, stop, and service UCAT offers to try to identify areas of improvement. And over that 1.5 years, we've been getting extensive input from you, the riders, because we want to make sure that we're best serving your needs. Coming up next Thursday on November 6th, our Transportation Council is going to present the draft final recommendations of this plan. And I really encourage you to attend one of the two sessions. They're at 4 and 6 p.m. at 2 Main Street in Kingston. There's also a virtual option, so you can participate from the comfort of your own home. So what does the route optimization plan actually propose? The plan is designed to make service more consistent and convenient across the county, and it would increase service hours by 27%, which is a very major expansion. It also recommends new software for UCAT systems to make it easier both for riders and staff, and it lays out best practices for rolling out service changes with minimal disruption. It includes service monitoring strategies to ensure safety, efficiency, and responsiveness to riders' changing needs. We're planning to implement this plan over 3 years once it's adopted, because it is going to require that we hire more drivers and purchase more buses. We're going to be paying for these improvements in part with 25% of our occupancy tax revenues that we receive. That's a tax on short-term rentals and motels and hotels. And we also will receive matching federal funds to help pay for these improvements as well. In the meantime, we have already made some changes and will be making more to address riders' concerns. As many of you know, in the midst of this major planning initiative, a major unanticipated change occurred in our bus system, namely the loss of the Kingston Plaza as a central bus transfer point. On September 15th, we implemented some changes. We had to move the transfer point to the county-owned development court on Ulster Avenue. And UCAT also made some additional changes to redistribute existing resources. The reason these other changes were made were because we didn't have any slack in the system in terms of drivers, and we're canceling 3 to 4 routes a week. After these adjustments, we had 0 cancellations, and that reliability is really important for our riders that depend on the bus. These changes also allowed us to expand ADA paratransit service for seniors and individuals who qualify based on medical need. UCAT now operates up to 5 paratransit vehicles a day instead of just 3. Now, these are the positives, but we've gotten feedback from riders on the downsides of these changes. We held a public listening session and distributed surveys both online and on the buses to hear directly from you. And I also rode a few of the buses to talk directly with riders and get their feedback. A number of the concerns you all have raised are actually addressed in the route optimization plan. But there are others that we're working right now to fix. So here's what we're doing before the end of the year. We've heard concerns about buses running late. Schedules on the CL and X routes had unrealistic times between stops, and UCAT revised those timetables to better reflect actual travel times. We're also investigating the timing of the yellow route, and will make adjustments on that schedule as needed. We've heard requests for more service to the Kingston Plaza. The route optimization plan actually includes expanded service to the plaza. In the meantime, we're looking for more short-term solutions, and in the next 2 months, we'll be returning the yellow route to the Kingston Plaza. In New Paltz, the loop was replaced with fixed route service through the village. We've heard that this change doesn't fully meet grocery shopping needs. Other options are available, including paratransit, the rural shopping route, and senior services through the Office of the Aging, and we'll be working to make it easier to access information about these services and to register for them. In Ellenville, riders shared that they wanted more reliable access to stops at Healthy Way and Tops, where they do their shopping. UCAT adjusted the schedule to make one of the midday stops a regular part of the route, in addition to regular stops during peak hours. All the other buses on the schedule will continue to stop by request. We've also heard from riders in Pine Hill and Port Ewan. Most needs in these areas are being met by current routes or additional services like paratransit and senior services, which we'll be promoting more in the coming months. Route 7 in the route optimization plan would actually expand service to both these municipalities, and we're exploring ways to do that without impacting service elsewhere. Now let's talk about communications. To make transitions smoother and improve service clarity, we're creating a task force made up of UCAT staff, our executive communications team, and reps from the information services and planning departments. The task force will share its recommendations with the Transit Riders and Intermodal Advisory Committee of the legislature. This task force will also be responsible for implementing the final communications recommendations of the route optimization plan. Some improvements will require new technology, also recommended in the route optimization plan, and that's a longer-term project. But in the short term, I proposed in the 2026 budget to redesign UCAT's website, maps, and all of our schedules to make them easier to read and to use. These updates will appear online, at bus stops, and on the buses themselves. We're also improving customer service. The county will be implementing training programs for UCAT dispatch staff to better support riders when they call for questions and information. We'll also be regularly reviewing rider feedback forms and making recommendations for further adjustments as needed. So looking ahead to the next 6 months, we're working with the city of Kingston to create a new transfer point at Academy Green in Uptown Kingston as recommended by our route optimization plan. We'll also be adding shelters on the sidewalk there. In my 2026 executive budget, I propose to extend bus service in Kingston to Sundays, and I've also proposed to add 4 new full-time bus driver positions. Once filled, these drivers will help improve coverage and begin the service expansion under the route optimization plan. And we're hopeful that the wage increases proposed in our new labor contract, once it's ratified, will help with driver recruitment and retention. Longer term, we're looking to improve shelter and lighting at bus stops, expand weekend service countywide, and create microtransit options that connect towns and villages with fixed route service. We've applied for a state microtransit grant, and we're awaiting the results. So that's a wrap for now. I am grateful to everyone who gave feedback so far. Your input is helping us build a better, more reliable transportation system here in Ulster County, and we're committed to keeping you informed every step of the way. Please don't forget to mark your calendars for November 6th, next Thursday, for the presentation of the draft final recommendations of the route optimization plan. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the bus.